Hello, it's John David here from Silvertone Analytics. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on marketing analytics. This video is broken down into three main parts. The first part, we're going to define marketing analytics. The second part, we're going to give you a broader context of how to think about marketing analytics. And the third part, we're going to show you one of our tools and how you can leverage it to uncover interesting marketing trends. Marketing analytics is the practice of measuring, managing, and analyzing your marketing efforts, with the end goal in mind of maximizing your return on investment for your marketing budget. One of the ways that we do that is by defining KPIs. KPI is short for Key Performance Indicator. One of the main KPIs that we look at is revenue. So, is this promotion generating more revenue than if we weren't running it? Which one of my marketing channels is generating the most revenue? What about device? Or am I selling more on mobile than I am on desktop? All of these details are really important, especially when you want to start to prioritize your marketing budget. Sessions. So anytime that someone logs onto your website is a session. This is very important, especially if you run an e-commerce store. Conversion rate. So a very simple way of thinking about conversion rate is on average, how many sessions need to occur before a transaction occurs. Goal completions. A goal is some type of action that you define within Google Analytics. An example of this is an email sign-up form. So someone logs on your website and they go to your blog and they say, man, I really like your content. So they sign up for your email list so they can continue to get more of that. So anytime someone does that, that goal would be tracked in Google Analytics. And time on page. So time on page is very much related to sessions. So people are signing on to your website, logging in, but it's very important that they stay there for at least a little while, because the longer they stay, the more likely they are to glean some type of value or make a purchase. So to give you some broader context of how marketing analytics fits into your organization, this is a breakdown. This is our analytics map. So you can see marketing analytics is in the top left corner. Then below it is sales analytics. To the right is supply chain. And then on the bottom half of the screen are our external data sources, also known as competitive intelligence. So a very high level way of thinking about marketing is getting your product in front of a new pair of eyes. So anytime that a new person sees your product, that is marketing. A subset of those people who see your product are going to interact with your brand. This may be them liking your post, or commenting on a blog, or sharing something that is under your brand. Even smaller subset of those people who are interacting with your brand are going to interact with your brand in a very specific way. They're going to buy your product, which walks us directly into sales analytics. So once your marketing engine is running on all cylinders, your sales are going to start to come in. And then once you have a good data set of how many of sales coming in, then you can start to analyze your sales trends. So you can look at who, when, why, and how of all of your sales. Then you can define very specific buyer personas, which will help focus your marketing efforts on a much more granular level. So you're getting the right product in front of the right pair of eyes. The way that marketing analytics is related to competitive intelligence and supply chain analytics is that we break down competitive intelligence into two major dimensions. The first dimension is price differential analysis. So are you selling higher or lower than your competitors? But the second, and here this one is much more relevant for marketing analytics, is feedback analysis. So once you have a good amount of sales coming in, people are going to start leaving reviews on your product. If you start seeing a negative review come up, a negative specific critique on your product, and you see it come up over and over and over again, it's time for you to reach out to your supply chain manager and say, hey, we got to fix this problem. But on the flip side of that, if you start seeing reviews come in about this one specific feature of your product that they're just ranting and raving, and you're seeing client after client saying the same thing, that's your unique value proposition. So that unique feature needs to be prominently featured on your marketing. So this is our Google Analytics dashboard. So this connects directly to Google's API. And in this tool, we have defined a few high-level KPIs. So revenue and sessions, which were the top two that we talked about earlier. But also we look at marketing channel, sales by geography, device, top 10 sources, and also looking at revenue and sessions over time. So the way that I want to frame how we're going to use this tool is we have been tasked by our marketing manager to come up with one very specific recommendation. He's noticing that his marketing is not as sharp as it was before, and he's saying, hey, help us out. Come up with something very specific. So looking at this dashboard, one thing that really sticks out to me is that North Carolina is selling on par with Texas and California, which is really interesting in that North Carolina has a very small population compared to these two. So from a business analyst position, I'm going to say, let's drill down on this and see what's going on. So wow, all of a sudden the conversion rate just spikes way up. So you've got referral at 11%, you've got organic at 9%, and direct at 8%. Let's look back at the national average. So the national average is, they don't have anything above 8%. So that is, from a marketing perspective, if you spend $1 in North Carolina, you're going to get a much higher return than you would just if you advertise to the whole of the United States. But I think we can get even a little bit more granular with what recommendation we're going to come back with to the marketing manager. So one other thing that I also noticed was, look at the direct traffic in North Carolina is double mobile. So if we drill out of North Carolina again, the national average is telling a completely different story. So mobile is selling much higher than desktop. So a very specific marketing recommendation that we could give to a manager in this company would be, hey, you need to put together a marketing budget focusing specifically on the geography of North Carolina and desktop. But also we can do a little bit further of an investigation and say, hey, what you guys did on March 18th was really effective. We may want to study that and figure out what exactly happened. You may have hit the right message for the right buyer persona on this date, because sessions have been dropping, but revenue is up. So that means that whatever marketing was happening within this time period really resonated with the target demographic that you were trying to reach.